Bharat Beat crew. New year,
Hello.
first episode. Thank you guys for making it. I plan to get you guys on after the entire thing, but you guys are in Pune just for this.
We deserve two
I think you're here
episodes.
just for this. The
Yeah.
wedding was an excuse, New Year was an excuse.
What wedding? What new
Yeah,
year?
exactly.
We came for the podcast.
Exactly. You guys are here finally.
Yes.
And you guys are great friends, and I wanted to get you on the moment I heard your idea. And
Not
then I've-
before that.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
were
yeah.
not good enough friends before
Y'all
that.
weren't good enough
We
friends.
didn't have anything interesting.
Yeah,
in
y'all
our
are just
life
doing
before
boring
that.
stuff
Yeah.
until then. Now y'all are doing really interesting stuff. But why don't y'all go ahead and tell all of us about the entire thing? Like, firstly, what the idea was, how it came about, what y'all have done so far, stuff like that.
I think you should take this question because
Yeah.
you ideated it.
So it was my 30th birthday, and I love this show Trying, and there's this character over there who has his 40th birthday, and he plans like a murder mystery party for himself. And what happens is in that murder mystery, no one tries to find him, and there's a speech that someone has to give for him, and the speech is really boring. And that guy says, "Yes, the speech will be boring because I've done nothing in my life." But there was a point in that scene where the daughter looks at the father and she looks at him saying like, you must have done something in your life, right? And that guy decides like, no, I've not done anything that's cool enough to tell you as a kid. And so then he decides to swim across the ocean or something of that sort. But that got me thinking that I'll do something cool in my, like, if what I've done in my life is not cool enough that I can sit my kid down and tell a story, which got me thinking like, what should I do? And before this, I'd quit my corporate job, which was also like at a place where I'm like, if I've quit my corporate job, want to start something new, then we need to do something really unique and really interesting. And I had this idea from fairly a long time, and then I went to Yuganti, and it was the second day of a period, so the mood was a bit unpredictable. So I'm like, let's take a chance at my life and see what she says. And it was 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, Yuganti, I have a crazy idea. And she's like, what is it? And I'm like, what do you think about us traveling across the India? Like, we cover all the states and union territories, and we do a road trip for a year. And her first question was, is it possible that we cover within a year? Which got me thinking like, okay, now she's gone beyond the yes and she's thinking operationally. So there's a chance that this can happen. So that's the night, I think. So we started planning the trip, and we drew like a rough skeleton of how we wanted to travel to see if it's possible to do it in the time frame, etc. We started planning at 10 o'clock in the night, and by 4 o'clock in the morning, we had finished our route map, saying like, okay, this is possible. We can do this in 365
Also,
days.
in one night, y'all had
Yeah,
the route.
Yeah,
ready.
yeah.
we planned the whole thing. And then in the morning, the second task was asking our parents, and not asking, telling them actually that.
I don't think there was any asking. The only asking that happened was him asking me. And after that, there was no asking anybody. So, yeah.
So those 6 hours, the route was decided. Then after that, what was the next step?
The route, as in, like, we basically took like all the 28 states and 6 union territories, and then we had to give enough representation to each state. So we sort of had to find ways where we were not driving for over 6 hours a day, but still giving enough time in every city and state. So it was more, it kind of did a lot more than just plan the route
so
for us.
basically we planned how many days we are staying in, like not how many days, but we like decided what's the distance between two cities, how many kilometers are we covering, which are cities that we know of or are famous enough that we can find some information about it. And then actually the biggest challenge for us to plan was the seasons, because there's so much diversity in terms of seasons, especially in Northeast and the North, right? So there are only few periods which are more safer and comfortable for us to drive. So we had to plan our route according to that. So that's what we did that night. So like we first like there was an Excel sheet that we made, which we still use till today's date, which has like the name of the state, the city, kilometer from one city to another city, the number of days that we are staying over there, and how much time we have to drive. So we had some like ground rules that not to drive more than 6 to 7 hours a day. Then if it's like a big city, like it's like a medium-sized city, then we're staying 3 days. If it's like a big city, like a metro, then we're giving it 5 days. So all of this operational logistical planning, we finished out in one day. And the next day was us basically seeing that how do our parents react. Because obviously we wanted them to be happy that we're doing this and to see what we were seeing it. And then obviously the money part was the next big thing to figure out.
I think, but both the parents really like for us, initially it was like, okay, how is everybody going to react to it? Because we both come from serious marketing jobs where we've literally done that all our lives.
Yeah.
Like that's all we knew, and that's all we also right now know of. But for us, this traveling wala kida was there. We did a road trip for our honeymoon. So road trip was like there in our relationship for the longest time. Even for his 30th birthday, we'd done one road trip which was around 3,000 kilometers. No, 29th birthday. 29th birthday, 2,900 kilometers, which was 2023. And even that time, we were like, we could do this every day. That kind of feeling came when we did it that time. So when this idea came up, I think more than anything else, that travel kida that we both have sort of came up. And then the marketing was not going to go anywhere. We both come from marketing. We had to package it in a way to sell it to even our parents.
Yeah.
Like we knew we had to like say the right things and use the right words and make it sound not as adventurous as it really is. So that part, it was not, but funnily enough, it came very naturally. We didn't have to do a lot of planning behind how do we manage this between us and how do we tell others. It came very like, oh, we were meant to do this sort of a way. And that's how our parents also reacted. They were like, we knew only y'all will like do something like this only. It was more like that.
But they were cool with you guys like disappearing for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my
They were happy in a way. They were like, okay, out of our way.
No, I think so. The mothers weren't happy at all. They both had teary eyes. Like, oh shit, we're gonna miss you guys again. I think so. My father had a difficult time grasping what this looks like because he comes from a very corporate job, kind of a structured life for a long time. So for him, me quitting my job at the peak of my career was anyway the stupid thing to do. And then on top of that, traveling for a year doesn't come very naturally to a middle class family, right? Like a middle class family saves money throughout the year to afford one trip. And then suddenly your son saying like, hey, I'm just going to blow up the savings that I have done this all this while to travel across for a year. So for him, it was slightly a bigger shock. But his whole thing was like, you do if this makes you happy. He was comfortable enough to understand that like, I don't understand how does this world function. So it's like, you go talk to the experts that are there in this area. If you need anything from my side, let me know. But other than that, he was just like, drive safe, take care of your health. So
Parental advice.
Yeah, parental advice.
He was very not so condescending about it, like how can you do this. No, he was like, okay, fine, if you want to do it. I don't get it why you want to do this or how you're going to do it, but if it's, as long as you're happy, we will support you. And I think that was the case for most of like both the sides of the parents. My parents though, they travel, they themselves travel so much, they're barely in the city, and that is the life that I have lived. So if I tell them and they say no, then they would be hypocrites.
Yeah.
So that part, like my side of the family though, was not an issue at all. His side of the family also, they were very
no
like,
issues
very
were there as
easily
such.
like everybody were like okay. And then of course they asked us, then are you not going to have a baby later on? And we were like, hold that thought.
I'm like, mummy, ये 9 महीने pregnant drive करते अच्छी नहीं लगेगी, you won't be very happy with it.
That would have been a cooler story though. Like you driving.
You never know, we still have a long time to go.
Keep us posted. Next time we can have your kid on the podcast also. That'll be fun.
The baby will just be crying.
Yeah. We don't even know if it'll be there when we are called again. But anyway, having said that, those questions, like of course they were like, where will you eat, where will you sleep, what will you do, how will you earn money, and all the like very fundamental life questions they asked us, like you'll end up eating so much outside, you'll end up spending so much money, and what about your future, what are you going to do after this thing is over. All of those questions came, but they didn't come in a very like, why do you want to do this? They came in a very genuine interest of knowing how are you going to do this?
More than why, it was how will you do
Yeah.
it. So they were like, why? It was not like, or it was not even an opinion saying like you should or you should not do it. It was more of a place saying like, we want to understand this better. Can you help us understand this? Like, we have a lot of unanswered questions. Can you tell us how will this work out? which in a way was good for us also, because it also, like, the questions that we might have missed out were the questions that they had asked us, saying like, what's your business plan looks like, are you going to do this as a full-time career, etc., which made us also think, because we were sleepless that night, like we had just slept for like 3 hours.
It must be the adrenaline
Yeah.
rush also,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it was,
it's
it was.
such a new thing you're taking up. It's going to be adventurous. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, for the longest time we were worried, like, how will we do this, because like the first night when we thought about it, we were like all pumped, like, yeah, let's get this done, etc. When the reality started sinking in is when we started seeing the gaps, saying like, oh, we'll have to plan this, oh, we'll have to figure out how do we do this. And luckily every time we met someone new, they asked us a question which was interesting enough for us to think about it, saying like, oh, this is a problem that we missed out on, then how do we solve it. Till the day we did our flag off, I don't think so we had figured out all the problems or understood the gravitas of how difficult this journey is going to be. And more than me, I think so, like us, I think so people also thought ki, like, oh, this is like a fun thing that they are doing. Like from the outside world, it seems like kya must hai ye.
One
But-
year.
1 year road trip,
Yeah,
yeah.
like,
But it's not fun, yaar. It's really not. Like I
I
have
mean,
my back issues started.
but like, of course, through the entire process of planning also, like he said, there were so many loopholes that we didn't realize on day one.
Tell me about some of them. Like what you all
Like-
didn't consider and then later you all realized.
Like, for example, we didn't realize that there are going to be moments when we're going to go to a city and we're going to have to give more time. Because like when we were in Bangalore, the first 2 days we couldn't do anything because it was raining. And there was a storm and there was an alert and all the offices were shut, colleges were shut. We had to do our workshop in 2 colleges which had to be pushed. So we had to push our dates in Bangalore itself. So all our bookings for beyond Bangalore were going to get affected. And these are not the things that we thought about, that suddenly in December is going to rain in Bangalore. It's such a random thing to happen. It's bloody global warming. It's not normal. Then again, like, we
Not-
had to like,
Not only during the trip, like even when we were planning, right? Like people used to ask us a simple question like, how will you carry so many clothes? And answer used to be like, we'll get it couriered from one city to another and then we'll figure out. And then what we realized is like we're sitting in one city for like less than 2 to 3 days. So operation, like in today's day and world, when you live in metros like Bombay and Pune, Blinkit system with like 10-minute delivery, you forget that the entirety of India doesn't function like this. So even when we reached certain cities, like it was easier for us to just send clothes back to Pune, but we could not get anything from Pune to a city because it's such a short period of time. If we have moved from that city, we can't just stay in a city so that a courier box arrives. And because our planning is such last minute that we can't even book hotels too many in advance. So things that we took for granted, like Blinkit, Zeptos, etc. of the world, were too much. Like when we moved to the cities, like we realized, everything is not as comfortable as it seems in a metro tier 1 city. It's not going to be the same when we travel. Like
even with like editing,
Yeah.
like what we were editing when we were here, like we started putting out videos 2 months before we wanted to leave. And then once we were on the road, we realized that between doing the interviews, editing the interviews, driving, figuring out the logistics of that city and finding the right person, there was no time. Like we were like 24 hours is not enough, and we were getting burnt out like that. Like there was,
You all are driving firstly and
Yeah.
then you're doing all of this along with it.
and it's crazy. We're like working while, like, one of us will be driving, the other one will be working. What? The driving or the working? Which one are you doing?
everything is
But yeah, so like, and even putting ourselves out on the internet, like, we're both social people. We're, at least I think I'm an ambivert, he's an extrovert, and we thought we could talk to anybody. But when you go to a city where you don't know anything, and especially when we were in a few places in South India, there is a language barrier. But funnily enough, it's not so much. We went with the notion that it's there. We made that strong in our heads that it's there. And the first couple of days we were very like, apprehensive of not going and talking to anybody because maybe they may not understand. But it's not like that. If you go and ask any person Hindi or English, they will tell you their preferred language. And then you communicate with them.
But even in the South Indian villages,
Yes.
Yeah. Everywhere. So,
Everywhere.
like, there is this notion on the internet saying, like, oh, you go to South India, no one's going to talk to you, or they are going to be rude to you, they're going to slap you and shit. It's not that way, man. It's one of the most sweetest and kindest people that we met.
And so safe.
And we told, like, one of the locals told us very simple thing. Like, you don't assume that they would know a certain language to speak. Give them a choice. Either from Hindi or English, they would know one for sure, and they will communicate to you. What usually happens is people go with the notion, and it's also to be with the way you talk to someone, right? You also being like, oh, he must know Hindi or English, and then you start having a full-fledged conversation. You need to also understand that they might not know English or Hindi. You need to give that kind of a respect to them as well, and then they will answer back to you. They will give you a proper response. Not only in terms of talking to random people. For the first couple of days, just taking our camera and starting to talk to camera was so difficult. Like, we felt stupid people just holding a camera like this and then talking and being like, hey, hi guys, etc. It wasn't the same. Or even to take a camera and go out in public and just start shooting.
We would forget. The first couple of days though, we forgot to, like, because we would not eat a lot through the day and we would go into a restaurant and we would be hungry. We would end up finishing our meal and then be like, we didn't shoot anything here. And
like,
that
shit,
would just...
photo reh gaya khana lene.
so it's the stuff I cringe about, which you all were doing all the time. Basically,
Yes.
taking pictures of your food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, this has become our extended arm now. Like, everywhere we go, we have to do like this. Like, we have to carry a camera everywhere we are.
But then, of course, it took about a week or two for us to, like, realize what we were doing. And then there were different kind of loopholes. Like, every time we would feel like, okay, we've achieved this. Okay, we figured out how to do this. There would be 10 other things in the line that we don't know what to do about.
Like, I think so. It's been a constant learning journey.
Yeah, constantly. And as much as we feel accomplished, there's a lot of, like, anxiety built in. Like, are we doing enough? Have we seen enough? Have we spoken to enough people? Have we, like, put out the best content? Like, everything we do, can we do better? And that is never good. Like, you people talk about external pressure. Here there's only internal, because externally nobody is pressurizing us, honestly.
Because it's a very unique concept. We don't even know what to expect. Like,
Exactly. Even we don't know what to deliver.
that's the best thing, right? You all can just do whatever you like.
But no, of course, we wanted to make sure that to have, like, a more precise framework as to what we wanted to do. And I think that was one of our biggest concern, to, like, have, like, a more streamlined approach to this entire project.
Because, like, it's like India or each city in India has so much unique flavors to offer that it's probably impossible to do it in 3 to 5 days. And, like, we have to cramp so many things in those 3 to 5 days that when we finished phase 1, we felt like we are not able to do the justice to each city. Like, to give you an example, right, Varkala has such a huge amount of history in terms of temples. Like, they have temples going to 500 AD and all. But at the same time, they have a great amount of beaches and surfing. There is food. And we're staying in Varkala for 3 days. So, it's a very touristy city. But even after seeing everything, right, we felt like, we could have done a lot more in Varkala. Like, after we left, we had this thought that, we should have done surfing in Varkala. Why did we not do surfing in Varkala? Or, like, in every city that we have gone to, there has been something that we have been like, ye to karna chahiye tha. Or even simpler things, there are so many great food joints. Like, no matter how many, like, 3 meals a day eating outside for regularly, we still feel like, we should have eaten at this place or we should have eaten that place. Like, take Pune as an example, right? In 5 days, how many food joints will you cover? You probably might not be able to cover KP entirety. Like, there is just, like, KP maybe 5 din kam pad jayenge just to eat food. So that what happens to us in each city, that we feel like, yahan pe to aur karna chahiye. Which also restrains our timeline, saying, like, because we have to complete certain things in certain months, we can't just keep on extending those particular cities. One of the things that we ended up doing in phase 1 was we extended almost 5 to 6 cities by one day, saying, like, nahi, let's just wait, because every week we have to take one day at least, which is just pure play operational work that we have to sit in the room and do, which is like one of the most boring days, because we wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, go to the hotel, have breakfast, come back, take our tables and beds, and just sit and work and edit till late in the night, at by like 10:30. But that's a day that is getting ticked off from 365. But technically, we're not saying, yeah, we are not sitting in any city. So like, there's no tick off in terms of ki, oh, we saw this, we ate that, or
That
there's
is
no
exactly
content that
what-
is created.
yeah. So it's not like we've not done anything. We've ticked off like about 50 things from our to-do list.
Yeah.
But it's not substantial when you think about it in the 365-day journey. It's substantial in what our approach to that 365 days. So
Like it just sounds like you all were sitting and doing this, but
Yeah.
that
Yes.
took like 10, 12
10
hours.
hours.
Yeah.
And I generally it would in any other job that we would have had,
Yeah.
we would have days where we are like just doing, I don't know, table work, literally, like
Desk
Excel
work.
sheets and this sheet and that email, this email, he's editing like 40 videos, like we do that. But then that day we've done no traveling, we've done no seeing, we've done no interviews, we've met nobody. So in our heads we are like ki, oh, so this day is a waste. But it's really not, because like we will need those days. But our heads don't sort of allow
And
us
it's a
to
struggle
believe it.
from what do we put on our Instagram, like, because we want to show the traveling part of our journey, showing us working in a room is boring for us, right? And we have shot 2-3 videos like that where we're just sitting in the room and working, but even at that point we forget to shoot, right? Because in one room, how many angles will you take shots from, and how creative can you get? Because if you start shooting creatively, then we'll stop working. So it's like this constant battle to find this balance between doing operational work creatively.
And you all don't even have a third person like a photographer
No,
or
no,
something. So it's
none
just
of
you all
that.
taking pics of each other. Yeah.
I remember this one day, it was in Mysore and it was raining outside. So we decided to have our in-room work day that day. And we had breakfast, we came up and we were sitting, okay? And we worked for like 8-10 hours straight. We ordered in our lunch. We didn't even go down to have lunch. Like we got it upstairs, we ate. And then in the evening, we were like, shit, we've shot nothing. So literally for the next 1 hour, we just took the cameras in different directions and pretended to take shots in different time zones.
Yeah.
This is morning.
Some was
this
with
is
open with light, some was with closed lighting. So we're trying to control lighting as much as we can in a room, and then figure
and
it
it's
out.
funny to like, we have no shame in admitting this because that's what every creator will have to do, because however beautiful it looks on Instagram or in pictures or whatever, there's so much work that goes behind just creating that 1 20-second reel. But like, newfound massive respect for creators who've been doing this for years.
He has been doing this for years.
Pati ko kabhi respect nahi
Yeah,
milta.
exactly.
No, but you had people to assist
Yeah, I
you.
had
Come
a
on,
team.
let's like don't say like you.
I remember those
alone.
pointing reels.
Yeah.
Like my job, like I have to tell my team, I'm like, listen, I have time from 5:10 to 5:20, 10 minutes I can shoot. So you just tell me when the camera team is ready. I have to come like, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm like, I'm done, guys.
And then that.
Like, I'm like, do you need anything from me? Do you need a voice? So they're like, nahi, I'm so So I miss my team also a lot. I'm like, because now that when you're doing everything, right, you realize how much time it takes for scripting a video, editing it, uploading it. Like everything that we took for granted, it's just we have a lot more appreciation towards it now.
And you also have that thing, you'll have to do one thing every day, like you have
Yeah.
one post every day. So it's just a constant thing. You all can't be like, okay, fine, today I don't feel like it. Even if you don't feel like it, you have to do it. And just the next day
You
again,
know,
the
like,
same thing.
When we came to Pune, we decided to like really take a break because we were going crazy. And the first 2-3 days we put up a few reels. And then it's been 7 days we've not put any reel. And that's making us uncomfortable because like, oh shit, we've lost our consistency. But we also need to realize that sometimes you're gonna have to like stop, like not put that kind of. But then we also think that, oh, we've decided to do it for 1 year, then why we are not doing it every day? That it's like a constant bugger in our head that you're not doing enough. You just do it every day. Just put at least one thing interesting, and then the whole number game of like, oh, this reel didn't do very well. Oh, this reel did okay.
You can't be
That
focused
are
on that.
Yeah.
Damn. At this stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's cut. Let's take a coffee break also. But regarding the numbers game, like it's too early to really feel bad about it, right? You're just doing your best and organically things are getting better, the numbers are going up.
100%, and we are gaining a few followers. We are getting decent amount of views, but then when you enter that content game, suddenly everything is about the numbers. It's not about the kind of content you're putting out, or it's not about the quality. And plus, we're both not content creators. We barely know anything about that, him more than me, but no matter how much we try to tell ourselves that it's not about it, every time a reel does well, we feel great, right? So then if it doesn't do well, then we feel equally bad. So there's, no matter how much we tell ourselves, it's very difficult to sort of like differentiate it with the success matrix of what we are doing.
And it's not only us, right? Like, it's also the brands who are looking at it. So, like, one of the key things that we need to figure out is, like, how do we get more brands on board to do this? And for brands, the matrix is fairly simple. What's your reach? What's your numbers? How much is your engagement? They are not. They don't care about, oh, you're doing something cool, you're doing something unique, etc. Like, it's a great story for us, but for someone sitting in the brand manager's position, they care about how much of a signage that you're going to do and what's your return onto it. And the easiest way to calculate returns right now on the social media is the reach or the engagement that you have, because pure play there is no conversion matrix that is available. So for them, we can't be like, oh, we're doing something unique and organic and you're not going to get the reach also, but still you pay us money. So the brands are like, no, we are going to do that for you. Why should we? So you establish yourself first and probably then come on board, then we will pay you, because they are not caring about ki, oh, you're traveling across India for 365 days. It's a unique concept. We understand a few years down the line this will work out for you, etc. For them, it's the shot that they're taking right now from the budgets that they have, how much are they allocating to us, and if those numbers make sense on the allocation that they have.
Okay. So how did you all like reach out to these brands? What was your pitch to them? And how have you all been able to finance the entire thing?
Like, because I come from, in my previous job I used to be the head of business, so somewhere I have some knowledge about what do brands look for or what do brands want. So we reached out to a bunch of brands, like we reached out doing cold calling from the people that we had, etc. We sent the proposal to them and we took their feedback. The few conversions that we had were from the family and friends and family around. Some people who knew us or who genuinely believed in the project, like Chitra, they have been supporting us since day one of the project. They genuinely believed in the idea and they're like, okay, let's get on to it. We see this is a long-term return on investment that we are willing to put into, and this decided to fund us onto that. Similarly, other organizations saw that, this is a good point of good interest for us to get data collection done from on ground. So let's work on to that. So in the few conversions that we had, it was pure play building strategies which were unique for that particular brand and whatever problem statement that they had to solve.
And of course, they had an immense amount of trust in us as two individuals.
Yeah.
Because a lot of brands that we did speak to, like part of the cold calling or, people we've worked with before, the entire question mark was about, are you really going to do this? Because it's, like you said, it's so unconventional to leave everything, leave the comfort of your homes and jobs and money and everything and just go on the road for a year. A lot of people didn't really even believe us
that we'll
initially that we would actually go ahead and complete this. Like, because a couple of them really just told us that, you are saying this right now, but 3 months down the line, if you get tired and you stop, what are we going to do? We can't put in that much money now only, believing, just trusting you that you'll do it. Because if you think about it, it's a very long commitment to one project.
So these brands, how did they do they give the entire amount upfront, or is it like...
We had options. We did make sure that we knew that not somebody, like initially we had a budget, like, okay, how much money are we going to need to complete this? So initially, forget the profit and everything else, just to make it happen. Pure play, the stay, the petrol, the food and anything, any logistical stuff that is required, we would need anywhere between 35 to 45 lakh, which is about 10,000
for the entire
for the entire thing, which is about 10 to 12,000 per day. considering that we are going to be staying and traveling and everything is included in it.
Like if we take the basic 10,000 per day for 365 days, that's just 36 lakhs over there, and a 4 lakh buffer of miscellaneous, like in terms of tolls, etc., or some expenses. So even on that, we required roughly 40 lakhs to start with, to do it pure play as a
Just make it happen. Just that much.
Then there are costs which are to do with building a team, because if brands or anyone comes on board, they want product of a certain quality, they want a certain requirement. So for that, we'll have to build a team, which is anywhere at additional 12 to 15 lakhs that we would need to build a team of 2 to 3 people, also at least who are juniors from the campuses. Then there were costs on top of that, which is to build the equipments, to build the products that we want. So like currently we are editing on our own systems, which are not the best systems to edit on. So we want, like, obviously buying a Mac is anywhere between 1.5 to 2 lakh rupees. So that's additional one. Currently we're shooting with single camera. We have not even bought a DSLR yet. So that's anywhere another additional lakh and a half. You buy a drone, that's another lakh and a half. So everything that we want to do or we want to explore costs money. So our luxury budget that we have, like, which will also have like one person traveling with us to shoot with us, etc., one person to edit, etc. Our luxurious budget, where we are staying still in a room of 3,000 to 5,000 per night. When we say luxury, it's also taking away the efforts or works or making our life easier. Not saying staying in Taj, etc. We would still require like a 75 to 80 lakh rupees to do it.
To make it like...
To do it with a comfortable position, where the luxury is like having 2 people working with us, having do more than one camera shooting for us, having a drone, having good systems to edit on, would cost us anywhere between 75 to 80
have someone
lakhs.
help us produce the content that we are shooting every day or edit it.
Yeah.
And like there were additional thing, like even servicing a client. If we have a brand come on board, if we are going to be driving for 8 out of 24 hours, we're going to need somebody to help the client reach to us. And there are times when we don't have range for like 5 hours because we are in like some random place somewhere. And all of these costs you don't realize. And of course, it's not even like we are multimillionaires ki no baba, we'll put in all our money and just go. But we decided that okay, we have an X amount of money that we can invest between the two of us. Then slowly we started talking to our friends, our families, and we realized that okay, they were very supportive. Like I know that tomorrow if we just decide to crowdfund, between our friends only we'll be able to make a decent amount. I'm not saying ki we'll make 10 lakh rupees, but like a decent amount to like fund maybe 1 month, maybe something like that, So when we started talking to our friends and all, also we realized that they were very keen on pushing us to do this. And not friends as in just our age groups, but our mentors. Like there are a couple of people that I have worked with before, but they are my mentors now. He has worked with people who are his mentors. So we started talking to them, and slowly we realized that they were showing more interest than brands. Because not just because it was a unique idea, but because they trusted us as individuals. They knew who we were. Brands don't know who we are. Like if I ask my friend, do you think will I be able to do this? They'll say yes. Because they know the kind of person that I am. But if I ask a stranger, do you think that a young couple who's just married for 2 years is packing their bags and leaving? They'll be like, it's madness. And slowly we realized that people think we are crazy. And we initially thought that, are we crazy? Like, and then we were like, yes, for a lot of people we are. And as long as we are okay with being crazy and accepting that, okay, we can do this, then it's going to work out. And that's how we then, our initial pitches to companies were very different. They were very like, sales marketing wala pitch kaise karega banda? That way we were pitching.
And that you felt wasn't working.
No, because again,
they wanted that personal...
Yeah, and there was no proof of concept on it.
More
There
than
was no
personal, also, it's like you think from a brand's perspective, right? Like it's not only one person who's making or approving a decision. A company has at least a 5-layer approval system, like a junior brand manager, then senior brand manager, then the VP, then the AVP, and then someone on top of them as well. And after doing that, there will be a financial team sitting auditing this thing. Does this make sense? But when we were talking to more of smaller companies, more individual based companies, they were like, okay, we believe in you, we like the product that you have, and we want to work with you. So with MNCs, it was a different ballgame altogether, because not only proof of concept was one thing, also how is the money that they're putting in going to benefit for them was a big question. And that's where the whole numbers game and reach games comes in. So
like everybody asked us what is the ROI.
yeah.
We're like, we can't tell you the ROI right now. No, like it's not possible.
But what is it that you all are doing for the brands? Are you all like putting their logo out there? What?
Like I
We
said,
were-
there were multiple options to the brand, like sponsorships also.
So we were very comfortable and open to customization. So like for each brand that we were speaking with, we were giving them a different proposition in terms of what their product looks like. To give you an example, when we were speaking to a brand like Diageo, we were pitching them the idea of responsible drinking. Like they have this great program for responsible drinking. We're saying let's take that program and reach it to multiple more people. We also wanted to do a list of bars which are safe for women to go and drink. So Yuganti would go see a bar, rate it accordingly, and we wanted to make a list of top 100 bars which are rated
In India,
which are safer for women to drink, or which feel comfortable. Not only safer, like the environment or the vibe of the bar feels nice for women to feel and drink over there. When we were pitching to a brand like
Like a car
Nestle
brand.
also
Yeah,
we spoke
yeah.
to, right?
Spoke to Nestle, we spoke to
Yeah.
cars.
So Nestle also, we were thinking like we'll use your products in a day-to-day life, because Maggie has been an integral part of us growing, and like it's one of the constant food that we keep on eating. So like we wanted to take Maggie with us and eat it at different locations and shoot it and make Maggie at different location in India. But that sadly didn't work out. Even we had a really good conversation with Tata Safari, saying like if we could get a car from Safari or this thing, car is our one constant that we are driving through. So obviously branding, then talking about how good the car is, how great it is, taking cars on different terrains, seeing it, etc., giving you guys good shots about what we could do. We spoke to a bunch of clothing brand as well, because every day we are shooting, we need new clothes, we need to look a certain way. We are open to do that. We speaking to men's and women, like brands like Beardo, which was that brand who
Bombay shaving, no?
Bombay Shaving Company. So we really wanted to work with Bombay Shaving Company, because trimmer is something that I need, because look at my beard right now, it's so shabby.
They had another one called Bombay, which is like for women.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we really told them that because for women, grooming ourselves is what every woman like really like looks forward to every month. So we had pitched
Yeah.
that also to them, that I will only use their products for my grooming. And like a lot of conversations were great.
Like,
But
they were-
again, they would
It's the money.
It's
Yeah.
the money.
Like it's very difficult to put your money where your mouth is, right? And it's difficult, because I understand from their side as well. It's not like I want to stick a shit at them, because like if I would have been at the same position, my questions would have been still the same. Like okay, if I have an investment of 5 lakh rupees and I give it to a creator who is already at a 500k follower versus a creator who is starting something new with a unique concept, who do I take a punt on? And the safer bet is to do it with 500k, because in the worst to worst case situation, you at least get those views. The only thing that we were trying to differentiate is we are saying like you give us 5 lakhs right now. When we also get to 100k, 500k, we will not change our rates for you. We will still work you with the same rates. But that's a longer bet that not a lot of brands are willing to take right now. Because like we never pitched to a brand saying like, oh, we'll only work with you for 1 month. Our pitches have always been we'll work with you throughout the project. Because if we're taking a punt on us at an early stage, we want to make sure that you also get the benefit out of it when we grow big. And like we'll obviously remember the brands who have not taken a punt on us.
Make a list. Yeah.
We'll make a list. But we'll also there were smaller brands that we want to do work with. Like we are like actively looking at Juicy Chemistry.
Yeah. So it was very nice because before we even started
Yeah.
our journey, I just took a chance, and I started messaging brands on Instagram saying that, we're doing this and all of that. And this brand called Juicy Chemistry, they have great products, by the way.
What do they
good to
do?
say. They have cosmetic products, like basically sunscreen and lip balm and creams and all of that, like body care. And I had heard of them, but I had never used their products. So I was like, okay, let me just, like try. And they actually reached out and they sent us a package, and, like, it was very nice because that was the first time we felt like somebody who didn't know us was taking a punt on us. Like, they just sent us like 5 products, and they're like, you do whatever you want to with them. Like, you use it right now, you won't use it when you go on the trip. And believe it or not, it's a constant product that both
We
of
have
us
been using.
use because we really liked it. And honestly, it's not a brand that is like famous. It's not
It's a growing brand right now.
it's not a commercial brand. It's growing. It's a business that's growing. And now that we have that, we were like, okay, maybe it's okay, we'll grow, we'll get it as we grow. And then we had people message us on Instagram
Yeah.
saying that, okay, maybe we can do this, maybe we can do that. But then it also has to sort of align with their vision of what we're doing and our vision of what we're doing. So it's not like we've not said no. We've said no. Not to money, of course. Like, money, very few people have offered us. But even there have been places where we've said that no, that we can't promote this. It's not something that we believe in. And I know that a lot of creators do this after they've reached a certain stage. Like, but we both were like, yeah, if you're going to do it now, later, then might as well just stick to it right now and establish ourselves as people who are not going to promote anything that they don't sort of believe in. So that part, and even the people who did give us money, like for example, Chitare did give us money. For us, Chitare is like home. Because our entire childhood, to this day, we've eaten Chitare's Bakarwadi or Amba Barfi or anything. Like, at our wedding, every person who had a room, there was like a basket of Chitare products in that room. So, like, that's how close it is to us. So, even when we went and spoke to them, it was a very straight conversation that, listen, we like the product. So, when we talk about it, it's not going to be scripted. I will genuinely enjoy a bakarwadi when I eat it.
But did they mention it to you? You'll have to mention it that
No,
many.
no, no. They
Not
have been
at
the-
all. They have been the best.
Yeah,
Like,
they've been one of the easiest brands to work with because their whole idea is like, we don't want to force fit our product into your journey. Wherever you find it's working, you put it, you add it, and we don't want it like, hey, this is Chitare product, we have been eating it daily. They don't want that shit. They have been very organic, like, and that has helped us a lot as well because, like, even if Chitare hadn't paid us, we would have taken a box of bakarwadi with us because, again, the constant feeling of home is what we are missing, right? And we would have taken it with us. But now that they have goodness, we also want to make sure that we showcase it properly. We take more than enough efforts to show it. Like, tomorrow, when we reach 1 million, we will do shout outs for Chitare without even they asking for us because they supported us when like we had nothing. And not only because they supported us, because we genuinely believe in the product. Like Binge Bars is one of those products that they have, which is like a bakar, which is
Bhel
like
in a
bhel in a
bar.
bar.
Bher in a bar.
Yeah.
dude, it's
Oh, I
so
would have it,
good.
man.
It's so good. And like, initially when we were like, okay, we don't, like, when we came from Bombay back to Pune a year ago, that time somebody told us
Yeah.
about this and we were like, what rubbish. Chitare is Bhakarwadi, right? Like, you it's like synonyms. Like, and we were like, no, we're not. And then we ate it one day and we were like,
Yeah, that's really good.
what is this? This is like sorcery. Like, this is not legal. But it was really good.
And like it's fine thing is now because on the days when you're driving longer, we know like our snacks are going to be there in the car because we are taking this. So like it becomes like, oh, we are eating it, like, and it comes very naturally and organically. Like when you're driving, we're eating a snack and we're like, Yuganti, click a picture, and we click a picture and we post it. It's not like oh, we have to take an approval from Chitare saying like, hey, is this okay with you? Is it fine if we post it? Except they are very comfortable with us, and which has also made us realize that the brand integration that we thought are going to be really easy, it's not that. Like Birkenstocks is one of the brands that I really, really want to work with. Like I literally said that we have Birkenstock marks on our feet
foot.
now. Like you literally see Birkenstock's branding happening on our
Like
feet
a
because
line. Like, there's such a big tan on
yeah.
his
You can put a
foot.
picture of my feet. I'll give you.
I'm not doing that. You'll attract the wrong kind of people.
Yeah. And like it's there because Birkenstocks has been something which is constant throughout our journey again because it's one of the most comfortable things that we own right now. Like, I'm a sneakerhead. I have roughly 8 sneakers in my car when I'm traveling on the basis.
You know
related
he
to-
wore sneakers to our wedding,
Wedding.
right? Like
Yeah.
All the groomsmen also wore the same sneakers.
But now that I am using Birkenstocks, I have stopped wearing sneakers.
Wow.
Like, I just
didn't see
have-
that coming.
Yeah, I had a running pair of
Nike, are you listening to this?
Yeah, Nike. Like, I have running shoes of Nike, Adidas, and New Balance in my car. But on a day-to-day basis, I will wear Birkenstocks. Like, I've worn Birkenstocks on the beach. I have worn Birkenstocks on events that I've gone to, etc. Because it's
Yeah,
just
that's
how-
something you can wear everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, like we'll wear traditional and we'll be wearing Birkenstock. I'll wear a dress and I'll still wear.
Am I going to
like
see
a
you all in Birkenstocks tomorrow?
Most
probably.
we are wearing Birkenstocks right
Right
now.
now,
when we have
it's
come,
right
like, it's
outside.
outside. The We've not worn this thing.
We'll get back to this tomorrow. Shall
Yeah, let's see.
And that's been a constant. Like, we want to work with them. Sunglasses companies, like, we use sunglasses on a day-to-day basis. We want to work with them. Our backpacks, man, like, we carry our bags everywhere that we go. We are waiting to work with a small niche backpack company.
Yeah, I think those companies will be easier to come on board because
But
they will
it's-
also
we
want
don't-
that.
we don't know that. Like we have these 2 bags, okay? This little one that's here, like that is Mokobara, and he has one which he got as a gift, which is from Dubai.
Yeah.
But like those 2 bags have our entire lives. Like literally our whole lives in those 2 little bags, and they go with us everywhere. Like at the wedding also, I was wearing like a nice sari with like a Mokobara sling bag,
Show
which
the
is
bag.
yeah, it's like right here, but then it's like that's how much we commit to a brand. Like once we are wearing something, we will wear that like so much. Like we were okay with like we are wearing our own
Like, we
t-shirts
got our
and-
merch printed because we were asking brands. Like, we said, like, I don't want money from you. Just give me your t-shirt. Let me print my merch onto you, and you launch a collaboration with me. I'm fine. I'm okay with not taking money. See, this is I'll never say the name of the t-shirt that this company is, because now, like, I have made my own t-shirt. So if you want to buy, you can send it to me and I'll send it.
But are these available on sale?
Yeah, you can DM us and we will send you customized.
Oh, I
versions
love
of
it,
that.
yeah.
we have people who like are like a couple of our friends, like you know them, like Rudra and all of those people, and Todkar and Malvika and my sister. They've all taken like 3, 4 t-shirts printed from us.
I wasn't even offered them, man.
And we didn't offer them either. By the way, this was
We
not
will
an
get
offer.
one, don't
Yeah, I want one in each color.
Yeah. No, you have to give us the t-shirt. We just
they
get it
all-
printed for
yeah.
you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought I'll do everything. Yeah.
No,
Very
no,
bad.
No.
No,
Then
but-
we'll take a lot of money also.
That's okay.
But again, this is the same thing, right? Like, the company who designed this for us, like Studio 224, right?
Studio 24.
I'm bad with name. The 2
Mahi and Inara, this is for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're the sweetest people that we have worked with. Like, they, like, now we are trying to think about a partnership with them where we are saying, like, hey, you take care of our merch. You, like, as I said, you produce it, you send it to brands, you send it to people who are ordering it from, etc. And you take care of the money part. Like, we are okay with you making bigger monies than we are, because, like, that's fine with us. But, like, these are the things that we have been very cognizant about when
That
you started.
is a brand that, like, there are 2 girls who have started this company. They're both designers. And when we started making videos very early on about telling people about our plan or the fact that we were doing this, we just put out a video that said that we want people to work with us because we want to design our logo, and we're both not designers and all of that, but we don't have budgets. Like, we want somebody to do this for us pro bono if you believe in us. And these 2 girls, sweetest girls, texted us because they are my brother's cousins' friends. They texted us saying that we saw your video on your cousin's profile and all of that, and we want to help you make the logo. They've been with us even before Bharat Beat had a logo.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how much trust they put into us. Like,
and luckily, like, now that they have worked with us, like, so the first, the logo that, not first, the only logo that Bharat Beat has is designed by them. And because that logo is designed by them, we spoke about them on LinkedIn, etc. They have gotten, I think, so 3 more clients from our side saying, like, who want to work with them.
because they did such a great job with Bharat Beat, our friends and families who were looking for somebody to work with, they reached out to them and then they are working together. So for them also, it's like, okay, they did this pro bono, but they're making money through other people and we promote them like crazy people because they really
This
did
is
a
what you're
good
doing
job.
right now as well. Like, it's not, and like that's what we want to build with brands also. Like we want to build long-term relations with brand where I like in the and brands keep on cribbing about it currently. Like you in this world of influencers, one influencer will promote one brand right now and tomorrow they'll promote our competitors, etc. But at the same time, brands are also responsible because when creators genuinely want to get attached with them for a longer period of time, they don't show interest. So tomorrow, 1 year down the line, when we've become big or we have gotten a lot of followers, we will also be like, yeah, theek hai na. Brands never cared about us. Now why should we care about the brand? So like obviously the brands that have been with us from the start, we will be loyal to them for sure. But it also puts into a dent saying like when we actually needed brands, they didn't support us. Hopefully they support us now.
But after this 1 year, like, what is the plan after that? Because if brands are going to be attached to you for a long time, they'll obviously expect something even after this. So have you?
So there are two parts. So couple on the evolution of couple on the drive is Bharat Beat is our first IP, right? So this is Bharat. So there are two ways that we're thinking about it. We want to understand states also in depth right now. So now when you're doing Bharat Beat, we're doing representation of each state with 3 to 5 cities. When we want to do next year is we want to do states in depth. So we want to do like a Maharashtra beat where we cover all the cities and villages in Maharashtra to understand what actually Maharashtra looks like, which will be like a 6 months or 7 months project. Right now, the representation is only by 2 to 3 cities. Then we will go in depth into a state, correct?
Yeah, 100%. And more like there are 5 regions just in Maharashtra. So like you go to Vidarbha, the Marathi is different. You go to Konkan, the Marathi is different. So for us also to give representation to Maharashtra itself, it's going to take about 4-5 months. So the idea is that once we have an overview of what India looks like, then we finalize like, okay, these are the 5-6 states that we really want to like deep dive into for the next, let's say, a year. And then give each of these like 3-4 months and do that for the next entire year. The other, like, this is our primary plan, and if this doesn't work out as well, we are open to doing like a Sri Lanka beat.
No, like we want to do neighboring states, like neighboring countries as well, right? Because the belief is the same again, that each country has so much to offer. How many of us actually truly know that country? Like travel right now has become at a place where you go to a city or a state, you just take few good pictures and you come out. Like it's not about exploring the culture codes. It's not about exploring or talking to people and then going in depth and understanding where the stories come from or how are the people functioning over there or why are they the way they are. So we want to genuinely do that. Like we want to go in depth in terms of understanding that particular city, state, country, and exploring the culture codes over there.
And you won't believe, I was never this traveler who would like, want to explore fully. I was more like a very relaxed traveler,
yeah.
like
go to the good places.
Yeah, like because I mostly traveled with my parents, so of course their way of traveling was very different. So and then I think the first time we really like traveled like crazy was when we went to Dubai a few months after our wedding, when the lockdown fully like opened up and stuff.
Where I think one of you all fell sick.
Bandia.
But that time we were there for like 7 days, and luckily, thank God, he fell sick on the 6th day. But the first 6 days that we had, we would walk through the city morning to night. Like that is how we travel as a couple, because he is that person. He loves to like explore a lot, and he's sort of like taught me to do that. I was not that person. And then he would be like, no, he would push me. And initially I cribbed a lot, and I still crib on some days because that doesn't come very naturally to me. But he'll be like, no, Yuganti, if you've seen this, we should see this too. Like we should eat here, we should eat a little here too. And that really sort of, I had been to Dubai before that. It's not like that was the first time I was going. And I saw things so differently. And that's when we realized that, you walk, you drive, like, again, like Kochi. I went to Kochi earlier last year. Like I was in Kochi exactly a year ago right now. And again, I was in Kochi 2 months ago. Poles apart. Because that time I went for work. I worked, and I came back. Like there was no other exploration. Of course, I went to the very like, oh, you should go and see this. Oh, go to like a sari shop. I did that. But this time we were like, again, morning to evening, we were just walking through Fort Kochi. We went to like all the islands and stuff like that.
And you guys went to Kunur as well, right? You all saw the
Yeah.
Kapoor and Sons
Yeah.
place. How was it? Was it worth the hype?
No, it's shit.
Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting that reaction. What happened?
Like वो कहते हैं ना कि बाहर से चीज़ें बहुत अच्छी दिखती है but अंदर से fuck all होती है. It's one of those experiences. Like it's a very beautiful location. It's very scenic, right? But now it's so famous that people
But
have
so
stopped.
are so many places in Kunnur.
Yeah, but like they stopped caring about how to do customer service. Like at the end, you're running a hostel, you're running a hotel, right? So like the point of hotel is you need to be warm to people who have come there to eat food. You're an iconic location, great. But beyond that, for you to keep on running, you need to serve good food. You need to have good staff who's managing you. Like we went to that place twice to eat. First time they straight away said us we can't. This place is not available right now because there's a reception that's happening. So they just didn't entertain us. So like okay, we understand it that you have a reception happening. You can at least just tell us, right? This is a place that you can go eat at some place. We have asked like sir कहाँ खा सकते हैं? We don't know what to do, etc. They like sir बाहर जाके खा लो ना वहाँ पे cafe है करके. And I'm like, next time we went to them, the person who was showing us around was showing us as if she's doing like a favor to us by getting us a place to sit. Like we're paying consumers. Like we wanted to come sit. We were going to shoot at that place. We wanted to do a lot of content over there as I was saying about it. She saw that we are with a camera. She saw everything that's happening, right? And we're not obviously asking for free food or anything. We're like nothing of that sort
We
is
had
happening.
a board.
Huh.
Like we walk around with a board now that talks about what we're
What
doing.
we do.
Your entire car also says
It's
that.
for car
right?
also that, right? Like it's very clear with what we're doing.
We
right?
couldn't be more branded.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she
10
was
on 10 for brand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like we there saying like, can we sit somewhere? She's like, yeah, just go and sit. And I'm like, where? Like you need to show us where we have to sit. And then we're like, can we see the property around? Are there rooms there which can be booked for us to stay? She's like, yeah. I'm like, can you show us to them? She's like, nothing to show you, just walk. I'm like, what the fuck?
She's like, you can walk in this corridor.
Just don't enter that room, that's not allowed. And I'm like, just like pure play, like मैं मेरा काम. She's just waiting for like मैं मेरा काम. And this is at morning 10 o'clock, right? Like early morning, she's already fed up of her job. She should not be working anyways. Then we sit to eat. Like we asked them, can you serve us a white sauce pasta and a grilled cheese, if I'm not wrong.
First we asked, is there spaghetti?
Yeah.
So she said, no, there's no spaghetti.
You can only get penne.
Oh,
Like,
okay. So we were like, okay, penne is fine. Can we get an Alfredo, which is like a very common, like it's the most common pasta that you can order in any cafe. We were like, okay, can you get us an Alfredo? She's like, no, cheese is not there.
Yeah. But she was
So I
okay giving
said
us a grilled cheese.
And then I said, okay, what about a cheese garlic bread? She's like, yeah, that I can get you. I was like, where the hell is the cheese coming from then? I was like,
I'm like, garlic bread पे चीज लगा सकते हो तुम पास्ता का चीज क्या कर रहे हो? Like what is this sorcery that you guys are doing with? Or you giving me stale cheese garlic bread? Like what is happening?
and then Yash is like, we both were like, we can't eat here because that was just such bad. And then we were like, okay, it's a cafe, okay? It's a cafe. It's not a restaurant. It's a cafe. And then we asked, can we get fries? Okay, because it's in the menu, right? Like, can we get fries? And she's
No.
like, no, fries are not there. I said, cough, like, just, I am leaving. Like, and we were so hungry because we had not eaten breakfast. And we were there for like brunch and we had to drive to the next city from there. So we were like, okay, we need to have like a full meal before we leave. And we were hungry. Okay, we would have easily built a good amount over there.
But
And
like,
she's like-
she didn't care, bro. It is not like it's just like she was not interested in serving food.
And funnily enough, when we said that, okay, we are going to leave, she took the menu card and left.
Like she didn't ask you like, oh, why are you leaving? What happened?
Sorry, stuff like
No, forget sorry, bro. Sorry, तो उसके मुंह से निकलने ही नहीं वाला था. She didn't care. It's like she was like, it's better that these guys leave so she doesn't have to take care of
And there was
anyone on the plane.
nobody else.
It
Yeah,
was-
I saw the reel. It looked pretty
Yeah.
empty.
Yeah,
The-
it was
It
empty.
was empty. There was
The
no
place
other
looks
person.
Great from outside, but it's so khokla from inside. Like it feels like that Kapoor and Son family actually lived there. Like वो बाहर से बस दिखने में अच्छे थे, अंदर से पूरा खोखला था वो. So if you go to that place, do not go
We'll
there.
tell you some amazing place. There is this place called Mind Escapes in on the way between Uti and Kunnur.
That's a must
Great
visit.
food, great view, great service. Everything is great. Very underrated.
वहाँ जाओ.
So
वहाँ पर
between
जाओ.
OT and Kunur, like, what's a better place and what places would you recommend?
Go to Kunnur
Couldn't.
over Uti.
Ooty is over commercialized right now. Kunnur is still raw, nice, rustic.
But if you want to like do like the very touristy things, then you'll have to go to Uti.
Yeah.
Kunnur is very homestays, Small, yeah. And literally Ooty and Kannur is 45 minutes drive. It's like going from KP to Baner.
Yeah.
It's literally like that from two different cities. Like, yeah.
And what are the places, the restaurants or things you would recommend in Ooty and Kannur?
You should say in Aventura.
Yeah.
Aventura
Aventura is great. It's like a glamping place in it's in Ooty. So basically they had a tea farm which they like sort of worked over the years, and now they've made a glamping space over there, a good cafe. They have a beautiful bonfire. They have very limited rooms because they want to keep it as authentic. It's not very commercialized. There are no buildings.
It's a
There are
great
like tents.
experience to be there. So glamping is basically glamorous camping, right?
Yeah.
So they have built tents, etc., where you can see a clear sky.
It's for people like me who
yeah.
think they like camping.
But one day, ma'am, आपको breakfast ही मिलेगा आपको, ma'am. It's not actually you.
But could you actually see the stars, and was it a...
We didn't stay there because we met them after we had booked our stay, and we were staying in Kannur. We didn't stay in Ooty.
But it's really good.
It's really great, and the owners are amazing.
Yeah.
So if you want to go, DM us.
What is the name of the place? Aventura.
Aventura. Yeah,
Okay.
Aventura.
And there was this rugby player also you met called...
Yeah,
what was the name?
Rutuja Kirdat. So basically, one thing that happened great with Bharat Beat is that it started off really well. So we had like a great flag off here where we called all our mentors.
I was surprised to see so many people. The entire hall was...
Yeah, so
we
like...
were surprised actually. Oh, so many people believe in us now. There's additional pressure.
And I came on time.
Yeah. To see us doing flag off.
Yeah, when we had to say bye, Shani was like, hello, I'm right here.
हमारी गाड़ी निकलती है, शानी की गाड़ी आ रही है. कहता है, oh shit, flag off from car to car.
No, but he made it while we were in the auditorium. So
I came for the final 2 minutes.
good job. But I love you. Thank you for coming. But
सुबह सुबह उठ के आया था शानी.
Yeah, very early.
it was very early in the morning, yes. But anyway,
Early in the morning at 10 o'clock.
that's early for him. But yeah, like we called everybody. So it started off really well. Like everybody encouraged us, and people who were important to us were there. So that's really something like that gave us that push. And our first stop was Satara. The reason why we chose Satara were for two reasons. One, we both have roots in Satara. Like my uncle still lives in Satara. He was in Satara till he was 10 years old.
Yeah.
So we wanted to start with something that felt a little more familiar because we were already doing so much out of our comfort zones. We're like, okay, maybe we should do this. And again, Satara is an extremely developing town. So we wanted to understand what the dynamics of that was as well, because even though we have roots over there, I have never lived there and he hasn't lived there in over like 20 years now. So that part we wanted to see. So when we went to Satara, we wanted to do villages as well. So there is this small village called Chinsner Vandan, which is about 20-30 minutes from Satara. The population of that village is 3,500. That's it. That's the entire village.
And there's the same amount of population that used to be residing in my Bombay building.
Yeah. Like when we lived in Bombay, we lived in a complex that had 3,000 people.
In 2 buildings.
It was like yeah. So when we went there, because I've worked in rural areas a lot, we knew somebody over there. And we met him. We went to the post office. We went to the school over there. We met the sarpanch. We were talking to, just people over there. And the sarpanch who was there, he's like, girls are studying and very generic stuff everybody was talking about. And then he's like, we are very happy that we have what India's daughter-in-law is what he said. And for 2 minutes, we didn't understand what he meant. He's like, 1 year ago, somebody from our village got married to this girl who is an Indian rugby player. And we were like, what rubbish? Like, how can that even happen? Like, an Indian rugby as a sport is not something that India is very famous for. And second, it was a girl, like a 23-year-old girl. And we were like, can we meet her? Because we honestly didn't believe it till that very moment. And we were like, okay. And then they said, yeah, we'll take you to her house and all of that. And then we walked for 20 minutes in that village. And we reached her house. And I'm not even joking, Shahane. In that moment, हमारे में जितनी अकड़ थी ना, फट करके टूट गई. Like literally, we realized that all the privilege and all the things that we thought we've done is zero. We entered that girl's house. This is a simple 23-year-old girl. On the left hand side, there was a like her TV unit, okay? And there were about 50 medals going on that TV unit. And and not random, okay? There was Khelo India. There was the Tokyo games that she had just come back from, apparently. And we were just like, where are we? And we spoke to her, and the first thing, like, it's so sweet to even say this, that the first thing she did was like, it's so hot outside, let me make you some limbu sharbat. She went inside and she got us limbu sharbat, and we drank it, and then we started talking to her. We were like, how did this happen? Like, she's like, no, when I was in school, I really liked sports and I wanted to play kushti, wrestling, and I couldn't because I come from an even smaller village, which is like adjacent to that one.
Like 2,000 people.
Lesser than that, probably. And she's like, women doing wrestling is not something that was acceptable in my village.
Because it's like, you'll get physically hurt, your face might be
like, yeah, and your body structure will be different from the ideal women sort of a thing. And she's like, then I started going to college, and that time I registered myself for rugby. I didn't even know how to play rugby at that point in time, but I really enjoyed playing sports because I used to play kabaddi. So if you think about it, both kabaddi and rugby require you to tackle a person and then go. So she's like, I knew the basic skills of, maneuvering when people are there. So my coach asked me in college that, will you join rugby? So I said yes. And then I joined rugby, and then eventually I really loved the sport and I started doing it. But to play rugby, you need to be freakishly strong and fit. So she had to like sort of travel to Satara, which was again 30 minutes away, to go to the gym. Because there were no gyms in her village, right? And for training, for the ground or whatever it is, she had to travel for it. And she's like, when I was doing that when I was 18, 19 years old, people in my village would really like tell my parents that, look what your daughter is doing. She's going out in the night. You know what time she used to come back home, Shahane? She would come back home at 8 p.m. And people would be like, she's been out. Like in cities like Pune, people go out at 8. Forget coming back home. And she's like, I struggled so much. And then eventually I slowly started getting, popularity. I started playing for the district. Then I started playing for the state. And now I am in the Indian team. And she's like, I feel immense amount of pride because I faced it. And while talking to us also, she got teary-eyed so many times because we saw the kind of struggle she went through, like every sentence that she would say, she would really like say it so passionately. And she's like, they would say things to my mom, and the one thing that made me really happy is that now my mom doesn't have to listen to anybody. And she's like, especially after I got married,
because now
this
she's been
village,
celebrated.
yeah, she's like, this village has given me more love. Like every 26th Jan or 15th August, they would call her to like hoist the flag because she represents India. They give her so much respect. They call her Gavachi Soon, which is basically the village's daughter-in-law. Not like that. Like she's given us so much pride that we call her the village's daughter-in-law. And then she's like, so I asked her, I was like, your parents had to struggle so much. What about like your husband and your in-law, father-in-law and all? She's like, my parents supported me a lot and my husband also supports me. But my biggest supporter is my father-in-law. And in that moment, we felt so good. We were like, okay, not everything is dead. Like, there are still people. And she's like, because he's there, I went to Tokyo now. I was there for 1 month. If you would have come last week, I wouldn't be here. I just came back from Tokyo. Yeah, and I was like, that is crazy. And she's still playing for India. And we asked her, like, funny, like, you see what her problems were. Like, we told her that when we'll interview you, why don't you tell us your name? And she stopped up. She's like, can you stop the camera for 1 second? And we were like, yeah, what happened? She's like, which name do I say? The one before I got married or the one after I got married? That was her big concern. Like, what name to say? Like, you don't need to say your surname. You can just say your name. It's okay. And she's like, no, because when I play sports, I still use my maternal name. And now, like, eventually I've changed my surname to, I've taken my husband's surname. But that moment really showed us that there are so many hidden talents in like little corners of our country that we don't know about. She's representing India. She's doing the same thing that any cricketer or footballer or any hockey player is doing. Nobody knows her. We didn't know her.
Yeah. And it's not only about knowing her, it's also about like one simple conversation made us realize the privilege that we carry. Like, for her to train for her sport, she used to walk from her house till the bus stop, which is like a 15 minutes walk, then take a 20 minutes bus drive to the main town, which is Satara, then walk from that to the gym, work out for there for 2.5, 3 hours, then again do the same process backward, which is walking from gym to the bus stop, taking a bus for 30 minutes, and then walking back home. So to work out, she used to spend roughly 35 to 40 minutes 2 to 4 hours just traveling to work out for 2 hours. We had gyms under our apartment and our complaint is आज बहुत ठंड है हम बाहर workout करने नहीं जा सकते. Like, it's also the privilege that we carry, that the things are so accessible to us that we take it for granted, and there are people who are actually struggling and working really hard to achieve the basic necessities, like a good place to work out for. Like, it's not like, oh, working out is like she does home workout, but the equipments are not there.
She's like, days I couldn't go, I would just run. Yeah.
And we are like, what reason do we have? Like, how much more comfort we want? Like, and we both feel so ashamed that time. I'm like, हमारे घर पे, मतलब in Bombay where we used to stay, उसके नीचे एक pool और gym था, and we have literally woken up and said like, आज बहुत ठंड लग रही है, मैं नहीं नीचे उतरूंगी.
And Bombay में कितनी ठंड होती है, we all know.
So like the excuses that we give ourselves to not.
And you know, she got her jerseys outside, and she's like, "This is my jersey, India jersey." And we were like, and she's like, "Here," and I was like, "I don't think I'm good enough to like even touch your jersey." Like, and she's like, "No, take it." And then she put it on the bed, and she showed us the significance, like how it is designed. There was a Chandrayaan ka representation on it.
Do you have pictures?
Yes,
Yeah,
we do.
send it to you.
I'll send it to you. So there was like a lot of representation of different parts of our country on her jersey, and then I was like, can I fold it? Like, I really want to like fold it. And she's like, yeah, of course you can. And then I folded it and I gave it to her, and I was like, thank you so much, because that is the closest we would get to even witness something like this, right? And there have been exceptional interactions that have pushed us to continue doing what we're doing, even though there are days where we're like, we made the biggest mistake by doing this. Just the next day something happens that restores our entire faith in what we're doing. And it's not just the people we meeting there. Somebody from back home, like you guys, would like message or like call.
Like a random person on the street would see the t-shirt that we are wearing and be like, oh, that's so cool that you're doing. Or like a kid looking at us with an aspirational value saying like, oh, that's so cool, we want to do this. Like
somebody from my school who was my junior texted me on Instagram on our page on Couple on a Drive, saying that, you know, when we were in school I would really look up to you and all of that. वो तो head girl थी, तो that was there. Yeah, little bit. But and then she's like, no, but I'm really proud that you married somebody who's ready to do this with you. And that felt like such a big compliment, because it's not just me, it is my partner. I am doing this with my partner. So it gives you that kind of strength also, that, you know, you chose somebody who's ready to take these kind of risks with you. Because it's not conventional. It's not easy. It's the biggest risk I think we could take at the position we were at. Making good money. He to left his job after he got a promotion. So it was literally the stupidest thing in everybody's eyes.
So when I call you crazy, you see why.
Yeah, like we know it. We've accepted it. No.
And before we wrap up, what's something that you guys are looking forward to? Like, what's the journey going to be like? What are you going to do in Jan, Feb, March? Stuff like that.
Yeah. I think so one of the things that we are looking forward the most is like we finally found our why about what we are doing this project, right? In the first phase, we were not very clear about why we're doing it, and now we have an answer to that. Is we are trying to understand, is there a right way to be a parent, or is there an ideal parent? So we want to understand how parenting in India functions and what are the different aspects around parenting that are evolving. Like our ancestors have so much knowledge about how you raise a kid, which is getting missed out. There are so many new problems that are coming in. Mothers are more paranoid than ever about what they are feeding their kids. Fathers are lonelier in the current generation. So we are trying to understand what does parenthood in India look like. So that's one of the key things that we're looking forward to. In terms of travel, now we're going back to Madurai and starting a journey from Kanyakumari, like which is the tip of India, and then going towards like Rameshwaram, then Kolkata, etc. The location that we are the most excited about is Northeast because there is so much opinion about Northeast that we actually want to go there, see, and then see what all this hustle bustle is about. Like when you talk about Northeast, the first thing that comes to mind is food, music, festival, etc. But also the geopolitical situations over there. So there's everything that we want to experience, and we are traveling over there. So we are driving across those terrains. Like we have seen pictures which are just beautiful. So we want to go there and experience.
We're going to spend
Northeast.
almost a month in
Yeah.
Northeast.
Yeah. We are covering all the Seven Sisters. We are going to most of the locations that are there, and I think so. That's one of the journey. That's one of the toughest part of our journey as well, considering the road conditions.
Yeah,
the
how will
terrain,
you all be
etc.
navigating? Like, are you going to take another vehicle or something?
Hopefully, if a brand wants to give us a 4x4 there, yes, we would be more than happy to take
Please
that brand. Jeep, Tata Safari, Audi, Mercedes, whichever brands. Like we are just okay with it. Like
Thar,
really,
he wants a Thar.
yeah, I really want a Thar as well. Like 4x4, nice capacity.
No, but worst case scenario,
We'll
if
take
we
our
don't
car.
get anything else, we're going to take our car, which is okay because we trust Ivy.
Yeah. Venue has been really nice to us. Hyundai can also sponsor us, by the way.
No, of course, we've mapped it in a way where we are ideally staying only in the capitals. We are doing a couple others in that particular state, but luckily we have people who are going to be helping us around in certain parts of Northeast. But more or less, honestly, we're going to take it as it comes. We are going to make sure our safety is priority because a lot of
Yeah.
people have told us a lot of things about, oh, this can happen, that can happen. But we know people who've traveled
Yeah.
also and they've had a good experience. So right now we're just thinking of it like, okay, if we would have gone to Northeast on a normal trip,
How
we would
that
have had
look like?
fun, right? So let's not put pressure on it and let's just go.
So when is that going to be? Which month?
End of Feb, like March 1st week to April 1st week.
And the weather is pretty pleasant.
That-
Present
yeah.
that time. That's the
So
ideal time
yeah,
to travel.
There are very few months where it's good to drive around in Northeast when it's not too cold or not too hot. That is when we are going, and we mapped it like that. Like we said very initially, like even in Leh Ladakh, there are a couple terrains you cannot go in certain months. So it's best to travel in Leh Ladakh between April to September. So we're going in June. So that's how we've sort of done it for
Yeah.
the rest of the country as well.
So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm loving the post.
Where are you coming?
I think, let's see. I'll join you guys somewhere.
Come to Northeast, do 1 month with us. Work from there only.
That'll be a different experience altogether. Yeah, I wouldn't mind it actually. But we'll see. We'll plan it. No promises. Yeah. But yeah, before we wrap up, can you tell everyone where to find y'all, how to find y'all, how to get in touch in case they are wanting to partner up and stuff like that?
So we have a page on Instagram which is called Couple on a Drive, and we are going to be building another page which is called Stories of Bharat Beat. I'm just going to give you a disclaimer as to why we are doing that, because we are getting a lot of new stories on Bharat Beat. We don't want it to clutter in one place.
So
we
like
want
the
it
Rutuja kind of stories.
Yes.
but-
yeah, we'll be on Stories of Bharat Beat, and Couple on a Drive will be more travel related and
More couple
logistics.
travel
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, more of very travel driven couple places, scenic, all of that will be on Couple on a Drive, and very specifically stories and entrepreneurs and interviews and all of that will be on Stories of Bharat Beat. We took that very conscious decision right now because from phase 2 onwards we're going to be building these two pages together, and we're also doing YouTube is Couple on a Drive, but if you just search Bharat Beat also you'll find us. So
You can connect us on yash@doolittle.in, and our phone number is 9209263449.
Do you want to give your phone number?
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
very comfortable giving my phone number.
It's on stickers that we put around anywhere. So
I mean, like this, the fear.
I'll put it in the bio
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
Like the fear of someone doing something, what will they do? क्या ही है मेरे पास ऐसा जो लोग मुझसे छीनेंगे? So yeah, reach out to us on WhatsApp, reach us on Instagram, etc. Yash_Pisse, Yuganti Lokande, couple on a drive.
Yeah, on LinkedIn, anything.
Anything. We are very active.
And any time of the day and night, right?
Yeah.
Like
We are
me, if I
working
call
24
you, if I call
hours.
you at 4 o'clock in the night and all.
We won't answer
No,
your
we
call.
won't
We'll call
answer.
you at
Shane,
6
we
o'clock in
sleep
the
at
morning.
reasonable hours and wake up at reasonable hours also.
You guys wake up too early.
Yeah.
But yeah.
8 o'clock is too early.
Yes.
Just FYI.
Disclaimer, guys. Disclaimer. But no, honestly, reach out to us if you're a brand, if you just want to know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're all up for it. We love having conversations.
It's a very interesting concept, and I'm sure that hopefully people see this and they reach out.
They will.
They will. We know. And I think the post Bharat Beat conversation will be...
That's going to be even different and even better, because that's going to be the Northeast experiences.
Yeah,
That will be pure
everything.
experiences,
Yeah.
Hopefully y'all don't get
We are
injured
writing
on the way.
that is why we are writing everything
Yeah.
down, because we don't want to forget, because we are experiencing so much.
Or y'all have a travel diary of
Yeah.
sorts. Can I like read it, or is it just...
Not yet. We'll publish it, buy it.
I want to read it before it's out.
We'll give you, don't worry.
That we'll do it, yeah.
Table ke niche se we'll give you.
We'll have a different podcast for that only when y'all are launching your
Decoding the
book. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys, and I hope we've covered everything you guys wanted.
Yeah. As long as you don't have any other questions for us.
In case I do, I'll get you back on.
Yeah.
Y'all will have to leave your journey and come.
You will come
You
whenever
fly
we are,
with us,
we'll
no,
fly,
yeah.
we'll
If
do
y'all
it
set up the studio and all that, I don't mind
We
it.
will
We'll
get
do
that
it in the car.
We can do it in the car actually. Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys again. And
Thank you.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah.
Yes,
New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.